Hi, everyone, and welcome back to today's episode of the Canton podcast. I feel like we haven't sat down and done this in a little while. I feel like we've been so busy.
It's been nonstop.
That we haven't had a chance to go and sit down. So I'm excited. I'm excited to just kind of sit down and chat with you today. Because even though, obviously we're married and we get to talk to each other all the time, this podcast has become such a nice way for us to, sit down and not only focus on what we have going on in our lives, but also the real estate stuff and all that. So I just wanted to say that I'm really enjoying making this podcast with you.
I mean, I reciprocate the sentiment, right? I completely agree. I think it's nice. It's also an opportunity to kind of organize some thoughts on maybe some more miscellaneous topics.
Yeah. Well, I figure we'll go ahead and start just like we normally do by kind of talking about what we've been up to, what's been keeping us busy, because so much has been keeping us busy. So do you want to kind of start off the ball rolling there?
Yeah. I mean, it's been nonstop. Got new insurance recently. Woohoo. New 3-year plan, right?
Wow. Yeah. Nothing says exciting life events like a new insurance.
Maybe it's a sign of coming into adulthood, but knowing that you have secure insurance and you don't have to think about it for a few years.
I know I was being sarcastic, but I actually do feel thrilled that we have all of our insurance worked out and everything.
Exactly.
So.
And then I put it right to use, went to the dermatologist, got a clean bill of health, good stuff.
I was very glad to hear that. If you have not been to the dermatologist, this is your public safety reminder. Get checked at the dermatologist.
Just go get it checked,
As someone with a big family history of skin cancer, I just couldn't recommend it more. Wear your sunscreen, go to the dermatologist, just take care of yourself.
100%.
I know we're here to be experts on Canton and on real estate, but you can't enjoy either one of those things if you're suffering from medical ailments. So anyway, just definitely do that.
Prevention's the best cure, right?
Exactly. What else?
Then besides that, actual work related, we've been doing so many CMAs recently.
Oh my gosh.
And CMAs being comparative market analysis, basically
upcoming listings. Yeah, we have always had I would say our team the past few years had more of a balance toward buyers and maybe 20%, 30% listings. But right now we're seeing so many listings, people who are coming out of the woodwork who wanted to wait to sell, who, we're running at about maybe 70-30 right now, 70% listings, 30% buyers. And just as a heads up, to me, if that is a larger reflection of the market that's coming, that means that we're going to have buyers with a little bit more negotiation power, more inventory to choose from, less drastic increasing in inflation of the value of houses. So to me, that reads as a much more balanced market if we're closer to that 60-40, but 50-50 one way or another.
Exactly.
But yeah.
I mean, moving into that sort of environment, it can be good to help balance out the other good news that inflation is starting to go down a little bit.
Absolutely.
And that interest rates are starting to, depress a little bit. So we're good.
I feel like I shouldn't have said that so loudly. I should be whispering and walking around no sudden movements. I know, right?
Right. Well, it's up to the Fed. We'll see what they do later this year. But, there's promising outlooks.
Yeah. I just had someone lock in a 15-year 5.99% interest rate. And 15 years are lower than 30 years. But still, I was really glad to see someone back in the fives after I've pretty much just been seeing high sixes, low sevens for the past few months.
I completely agree with that.
I hope that trend continues. Affordability of housing is such a top priority for us. We work with so many first-time home buyers, and we also work with people who are buying their forever home. In neither of those circumstances do you want to lock in an interest rate that's crazy high.
No, exactly.
So I've been really excited about that.
Good news there and all that good stuff. How about you? What have you been up to this past week?
I have been so busy. So we've been doing all the things that you just talked about, and then we also have had so many people visiting us and staying with us, which has been really nice. But I feel like I don't know which way is up. We had my uncle and aunt visit from Florida, and we get to see them once or twice a year. So it was really, really nice to see them. We watched the Olympics with them. Oh my gosh. I just got to go on a side tangent about the Olympics. I have been crying at the Olympics, watching all of the different events and hearing the stories, and it just warms my heart so much.
Everyone trying so hard.
Yeah. Oh, it really gets me. And seeing the stories, all the stuff about the gymnastics team.
Exactly.
And I got into rugby last year.
Oh, really?
And so watching the women's rugby team win bronze was I was literally crying. And I've shown so many people that game.
Yeah.
So
No, it's awesome stuff. It's really cool. It's almost distilling all of humanity and seeing what rises to the top and seeing just humanity at its finest almost, right?
To me, it's just wild to see all of these people come together, and especially, like, I know we're not old, but the fact that we are old compared to so many of the people who were there,
right?
Understanding that these people are teenagers who are so excellent at the things they do, but they're also just real people. Like, they're real young people who are representing their country.
Yeah.
It's something that they love. Like, it
100%.
If that's not a situation for me tearing up, I don't know what is. Like, I cry at little kids' basketball games because they're trying hard. So this feels like that times like 100.
Exactly. But that's been a really fun little pastime for the past few weeks.
The last event that we watched was the breaking competition, which was...
breaking's breakdancing, for those who are not in the know.
And it's the first time it's ever been in the Olympics. Yes. So that I was like, oh, we should watch that. And to be honest, it came across my, like, TikTok feed and my Facebook feed videos of the Australian woman who was dancing, who had a very different style than the rest of them. Hers was maybe a little goofier. She didn't make it to the finals, but going in and then watching the finals, it's just such a strange but really engaging sport. Like I thought I was gonna end up just making fun of it, but really I ended up being really impressed with what a lot of people were able to do. So
no, absolutely, it was really impressive, the amount of stamina, cardio that they have to have, and also willingness to just take beatings on the ground.
Oh my gosh, I know. They're like, when they go down to the ground, they're like body slamming the ground, and then they're still smiling and dancing and putting on a
spinning around and all that stuff.
What do you think your favorite event was in the end, like after watching as many as you did?
I was actually surprisingly probably the biggest fan of surfing.
I thought you might say that.
I really liked the surfing competition for some reason. Never watched surfing in my life. I mean, first of all, beautiful scenery.
Yeah.
Gorgeous kind of sound font going on with the waves constantly. And just really impressive what the athletes have to do in the competition, right? Because not only are they at the whim of the ocean, but they also have to apply some sort of strategy. I mean, this is getting a little bit inside, I guess, surfing, right? But there's a system of priority, and it's actually a lot deeper than, one might think.
Yeah, I got a little bored watching it, to be completely honest.
That's fair. It's also the perfect background sport because something's not happening all the time.
And I think that was my problem. Like, meanwhile, my favorite was probably the rugby, where it's 7 people on each team and each half is 7 minutes. So each game is only 14 minutes and which makes every second count so much. So that was more my speed, where it's just constant adrenaline rush, everyone like working as hard as they possibly can every moment. I was solidly addicted to rugby for like a solid week.
That was a good one. That was absolutely a good one. I can't wait to watch a couple of the highlights that we still haven't seen yet.
And I'm excited that it's coming to the U.S. in 4 years, too.
I know,
it's
right?
Be in Los Angeles.
L.A.
So.
I don't think we'll make the trip.
No, me either.
But it'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be cool to know that it's in the U.S.
It'll be more on our time zone a little bit instead of having to like wake up at 4:30 a.m. to see.
Although I almost liked that a little bit because it was on off working hours for the most part. So we could like watch more than I think we'll probably be able to if it's a similar time. But
I mean, we'll see, right?
Beyond the Olympics, like I said, we've had people staying with us. That's been super nice to catch up with them. Like even my sister and her fiance, they stayed with us recently this last weekend, and that was so nice. They're thinking about moving closer now that she's in the working world and he only has one more semester before he graduates, and it's going to be so nice. So we're going to kind of be on the lookout for houses for them and, start trying to figure that out. And that just warms my heart so much because I love helping all of our first-time home buyers, but like getting to help my sister get her first place, when that happens, it excites me she's moving close, and it excites me that she's taking charge of her finances in 100%. That way. So.
She's probably one of the most financially savvy individuals of her like age group that I've ever met.
I totally agree. Yeah, she's doing a fantastic
I mean, she's
job.
read like multiple books on budgeting, like she's the whole 9 yards. Really impressive.
And like just to reiterate her age, they both just graduated from school, right? So they're very, very young and working to buy their first house, and I think it'll happen within the next year. So
absolutely.
It proves that it's possible if you plan. Right? Like we talk all of the time about how inaccessible it sometimes feels to buy that first house, especially around Canton with all of our increasing equity so quickly and all of that. But it's looking like it's going to be very possible for them. They may end up 100%. In Canton, they may end up in Woodstock, but both of those areas, are growing so much and are such great areas to live that either way, I think they'll be really happy.
Yeah, so. I completely agree with that.
Yeah. Well, beyond that, I guess now that we've kind of chatted a bit,
caught up a little bit, and that
talked
sort of
about
stuff.
Life, we should do our typical segment of best thing we ate or drank around Canton this week.
Right. Since I started last one, do you want to start this one?
Sure, I will happily start this one. So anyone who has heard the other episodes of our podcast knows that I am a coffee fanatic.
Oh, she loves her coffee, folks.
And that Bazaar Coffee has always been like my top choice around here. And I love Bazaar Coffee. But I have also discovered another place that I definitely want to plug on here for my fellow coffee lovers who especially want a little bit more space to get work done inside of the coffee shop. I love Bazaar, but they have such a cute little hole in the wall place that there aren't that many seats inside. So if you're looking for somewhere that you want to go and work for 4 or 5 hours, study, anything like that.
Kind of get the coffee shop aesthetic, right?
Alma's Coffee is so good. Like their coffee is amazing. The workers are so kind. The ambiance is incredible. And I went there last week because I had just quite a bit of work to do and I really just needed to sit in a place that would keep me focused for a while to just reach out and do all the CMAs we're talking about and, do all of that. And I wrote it down so I don't get it wrong. The Strawberry Fields Latte.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool.
It was so good. Yeah. So it's got, and again, I'm going to look at this because it's like, it got so many things in it that I can barely keep track of it, but it's a strawberry, lavender, and honey syrup combination with a strawberry and blue pea flower cold foam on top. So, which doesn't sound okay. It's a flower. Let's go.
Let's
quickly go from blue to pea flower. It's a blue pea flower.
Okay, all right.
Not blue pea on top of it. No, it's delicious, not nasty. It was so good. Like I've been craving it ever since.
How floral was it? Because it has lavender, and you're saying blue pea and stuff?
It sounds like it would be more floral than it was. I would say that it tasted more like your typical espresso with strawberry and honey. And maybe a little bit of an undercurrent of like
fruity goodness.
Grass. Not grass. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of that like herbal flavor that you get when you're doing like matcha or something that. It wasn't a matcha.
A little bit herby.
But it was so good. Like I have been craving it ever since, which is the wrong time to start craving it because they just switched to their fall menu.
Yeah.
And that looks really good too. They have a version of my favorite drink at Bazaar actually. It's like I think theirs is called spiced apple pie chai or something like that, or apple cinnamon chai. I don't know exactly, but they've got that one. They have, of course, a pumpkin spice, and they've got like a few other things that sound really good. So
that's pretty good.
I may just have to try those out and report back and let you guys know if the fall menu is as good and addicting as their summer menu was.
Well, it's so bold of you to take that sacrifice on for the people.
I know. I'm nothing if not a public servant. What can I say? You need coffee tried? I'll do it. I'm your girl.
All right. Well, that sounds fantastic. I had a really good time.
It was so good. And I just feel so proud, like whenever there is a local business that's doing as well as I see Alma's doing.
I completely agree.
Like seeing Bazaar flourish and seeing Alma's, it used to be someone's house and they converted it, and then they source all of their coffee beans from I can't remember where it is, but like a family member lives there and they do 6 months down. Like I was reading their whole bio on the website,
like and the supply chain's all like personal.
It's like such a nice family business, and I think that it's so cool to see things like that around Canton. Like,
I completely agree.
I've gone to Starbucks, I've gone to Dunkin', but I feel no connection to those places versus supporting an actual local family feels so nice on top of the fact that the coffee's better. Like, I'll say it. I think the coffee is better, and usually it's a very similar price, if not slightly less expensive. So if you are someone who loves Starbucks, loves Dunkin', no shame. I love those places too, but definitely try out like Bazaar or Alma's. We've got really great coffee in Canton. We're so fortunate
and
here.
I will say, like, I have tried like Starbucks, Dunkin',
you don't
Bazaar,
like any of it, really. Yeah.
like they don't even hold a candle to Bazaar and stuff like that. And I haven't had the chance to try Alma's, so I'll have to put that on the list.
I'll have to bring you one day. Maybe I'll, like I said, if I'm taking on the heavy burden of trying on all of their new fall items,
then
maybe
I'll
have to bring you one.
Maybe the heavy burden of trying them with you.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have to report back and let them know how the fall menu 100%. Turns out. But what was your favorite thing that you've had?
Speaking about supporting local families, I'm actually talking about something I learned how to cook recently.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. And you're supporting our local family.
Our local family, ours.
I love it. Hey, any meal I don't have to make, I'm a fan of. So
I probably do the majority of cooking in the house.
It's true.
Now, don't get me wrong. Kate can make a mean lasagna.
That's true. I weirdly can make really good lasagna, but I've invested all of my cooking points into lasagna. Everything else stresses me out. Okay, well.
But day to day, I tend to do.
Emotionally, I don't do well cooking.
It's fine.
I'm meant for a life of luxury. Truly. What can I say?
But anyways, I've been learning how to cook gyoza. And
I'm glad you're talking about this.
For those of you who don't know what gyoza is, think of like a dumpling, but almost like a little bit pan fried on the bottom, right?
Yeah, it's got like a crunchy exterior kind of.
So we've actually been getting a few gyozas from Costco, which can I just say, so convenient that it's so close to our home. Yeah. Like 15-minute drive max.
I love living in the part of Canton we do because we're not quite Holly Springs. We're very close to downtown Canton, but we're so close to Woodstock.
We're so close to like everything. It feels
to,
like
Milton. Yeah. We're so any direction we go, we can be there in like 20 minutes, and it's entirely different cities.
Exactly.
So Costco is your best thing you've eaten or had this week.
Although, and I will say, I'm remembering we had. Gosh, what was it? The chicken bake at Costco?
Oh, don't talk about that. That was so bad. I don't mean to yuck anyone's yum. Yeah. We had been told that the chicken bake is like the thing to get
My
Costco.
Cousin swore up and down that the chicken bake
all credibility lost.
It was rough.
At least the one that we had, we ordered it. We waited like 20 minutes for it.
It was a long time. I was starting to get worried about our frozens.
I know, exactly. And then it came out because they've got, if you haven't been to Costco before, they have like all of the shopping that you can do. Yes. And then right after the checkouts, they've got like a food court style thing.
Yeah, it's like a lost lead situation, right?
Yeah, they've got like huge pizza, huge hot dogs. Like, it's Costco. Everything's big.
You can get like a foot-long hot dog and a drink for $1.50. $1.50.
Yeah. So, If you're looking for a meal on a budget, that's totally something you could do. But our recommendation, don't get the chicken bake. We had why was it so bad?
Maybe giving them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was just like a rough chicken bake day because it took forever to come out, and it came out. It was basically a charcoal brick.
Well, call me harsh, but I'm not giving them a second chance. However, that gyoza we get from there,
oh man,
absolutely,
it's so good. There's 12 little dumpling things that come in, and the gyoza sauce, I know you didn't like it. Your sister loved it.
My sister said she would drink it.
She would drink it.
Like, it was that good. So it's not like just a soy sauce, I don't think. It's got like an extra something in it.
There's some more going on in there.
Okay.
But anyways, that's what I ate and
honestly
enjoyed around.
Love that because like we said, it is so nice to live somewhere where Costco is close and all these local restaurants are close. Like even if it's not actually in Canton, it feels so close by that it doesn't even matter.
No, I completely agree. It's like Atlanta is like the nexus of the South, and I feel like Canton is the nexus of North Georgia.
Yeah. The one grocery store we're not close to, which makes me a little bit sad, is Trader Joe's. I love Trader Joe's. I went to a Trader Joe's. Where was it? I think it was in Cumming or something like that. But the good news is when we were checking out, we were like, why is this not closer? We had so much fun going here. The lady who was the cashier said that one is coming to Woodstock. Really? Now, I haven't been able to like validate that or verify
Look up the build plans maybe
online yet, but that would be so nice because that's like the one store that feels so like nice and pre-made food and everything that we're missing. So hopefully that will come either to Canton or Woodstock soon.
Exactly. Awesome. Yeah, good stuff.
So that kind of actually, I'm going to maybe do things in a different order than we normally do. But the fact that like seeing the kinds of things that are coming to our area soon, I know we were going to talk about something like that real estate related today, and you were going to take the reins on that. So do you want to start us off?
Yeah, we can pull an Audible right here. Okay. So basically, I was going to touch on external things that might affect your home's value, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, of course, proximity to grocery stores, proximity to medical services, and then like transit as well. All these things come together. It's a giant confluence of things that affect your home's value.
Yeah, solid.
And oftentimes it can seem like, well, why are they doing that? You know, why is my local government deciding to repave this road? Where'd this come from? I think it's honestly one of the coolest things that Cherokee County does. I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes to this, all right?
It's okay.
Bear with me. But basically what they have is something called a comprehensive plan, right? And big, bold words, comprehensive plan, right?
Yeah.
It is almost like a guideline point-by-point sheet for what are the goals of the government for the next X amount of years to basically develop and help continue supporting the communities inside the county, right?
Okay.
So it'll give you information on like, all right, there's a small town called Waleska in Cherokee County.
Yep.
Small town vibes.
Where I grew up.
It has one like big brand restaurant, and that's Subway.
Yeah, and Subway can exist anywhere.
Yeah,
that's proof.
Exactly.
Because Waleska was so small growing up, it's gonna grow.
It's gonna grow.
Once they get public sewer.
Now they still, you know, they outline things. Actually, I printed out a little bit of a cheat sheet right here, right? So
what you're going over right now is the Cherokee County Comprehensive Plan.
Yeah, the Cherokee County Comprehensive Plan includes things such as their plans for what they want to do to grow Waleska.
Okay,
right?
Got it. Interesting.
And not just Waleska, but also industrial
like
areas,
and stuff like that too.
ball grounds on there, and also Freehome.
Okay, gotcha.
Is actually one of the big areas.
That makes sense.
So those are the big three that they're focusing on: Waleska, ball ground, and Freehome.
So what does that mean for people? What should they look at this comprehensive plan? Like,
I mean, for a lot of people, it might not actually affect them that much, but it could affect home value if you know, like, all right, they're going to be focusing on promoting new construction of homes nearby me. Yeah. Right?
Like, is that a good thing? Like, what kinds of good things should people look out for versus maybe be a little more concerned about?
Well, I think it's all in the eye of the beholder, right?
Yeah.
Because maybe you move to Waleska to escape all the traffic and all the population and all that sort of stuff. So
find your mini farm or whatever.
Exactly. So hearing that the local government might be trying to maybe shift the dynamics of that community.
Their priorities.
Exactly. Meanwhile, if maybe you're trying to find a place to live that's affordable,
right,
you'd be really excited because house prices in that area would likely be lower.
And will likely increase equity quickly because they're focusing so much on developing that area.
So I think it's all situational, right?
Gotcha.
It means different things to different people, and you can find good things in all of it, and you can find some things that maybe you wouldn't enjoy.
So where do you find this if someone wants to look it up, just so that they have access to it?
It's literally just on like the Cherokee government website.
Literally just
Google Cherokee County Comprehensive Plan, and it'll come up.
Okay, gotcha.
They do a good job about, making sure it's out there, it's not hidden or anything.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. It has a lot, I can't recommend it enough, honestly.
Yeah, Eric loves this sort of thing. And I actually think it's very important to pay attention to this sort of thing because it does have such an influence on who's going to want to buy your house.
Exactly.
Whether you want to live there or 100%. Not. And if you should be getting involved in your local government.
Exactly.
Right? Because you may find things you disagree with. And if that's true, you certainly want to go and use your voice at the county level to
talk to your representatives, talk to you're a constituent.
Yeah, you live in Canton and you should have a say. And so I definitely think that having an eye on that is one of the best ways you can influence how Canton will develop in the the and make sure that it still reflects what you want it to.
I mean, I was listening to NPR the other day, and they were saying that there are over like 240 new apartment construction programs going on along like the 75 corridor north of Atlanta.
Oh, and that made NPR interesting.
Yeah. Wow. So there's been a huge push for more affordable housing situations within.
Absolutely. I mean, anyone who has done any searches on rentals or anything like that recently, they've gotten so expensive since when we had to rent. So I think about, like, again, Anna, right? Yeah. They're having to rent a 1-bedroom apartment. Now they live in Atlanta right now, but it's over $2,000 a month for a 1-bedroom. Like, that's crazy. And the fact that is the most affordable, safe, whatever option is wild. So I certainly can understand them wanting to put in apartments, but I can also understand, if you have a big, beautiful farm, them putting up a huge apartment close by may not be what you want. So I definitely do think that looking at that comprehensive plan is a great way to make sure that you're still excited about where you want to live.
Exactly.
And it can be a good idea to kind of judge, ooh, this is exciting. I think my equity is about to increase.
Yeah.
Or something like that as well.
Exactly. Or maybe you want to, buy another property.
Yeah. Planning out where the best investment strategy is if you're buying a secondary, income producing property.
And keeping an eye and at least being in contact with someone who knows what's going to be going on and that sort of stuff.
And I'll use that to kind of transition into what I wanted to talk about, which is how, we as agents decide how much your house could sell for.
Absolutely, right? We're not just pulling the number out of a magic hat. I wish it was that easy.
I really wish it were that easy. And to be honest, over time, most agents do develop a gut instinct, right? We know the area well enough that we can kind of walk by a house and go, hey, 425. Hey, 350.
Yeah.
It's my little party trick. We'll be driving down the road with our friends and they'll be like, how much could you sell that one for? I'm like, okay, I give that one 560. Right. You know what I mean? So we develop a gut instinct, but if you as a consumer are trying to get a general idea for how agents are gathering that information, I just kind of wanted to go over that a little bit because I know more, right? We've trained in this, but I think it's really important that you have tools to advocate for yourself as well.
Exactly.
And so when, a listing agent comes into an appointment, you at least speak their language and it doesn't feel like they're just throwing a bunch of numbers or throwing information at you. So
it's nice to be up to date on the vocabulary.
Exactly. So as far as I specifically want to talk about why we choose the comps we do when we're doing CMAs. And again, a CMA is a comparative market analysis where we are pulling usually 5 listings or so that have sold around the home we're trying to evaluate.
Around being in how far?
Around being, I try to stay within 0.25 miles. That's usually my search radius. Now, sometimes I have to expand to 0.5 miles or a mile. For example, if you live in Bridgemill, I'm probably only going to have to do 0.25 miles, right? Because you have so many houses concentrated in that area that are going to be the best comparison for your home close by, right? Because you've got some really nice streets, some slightly less expensive streets, et cetera, et cetera. It wouldn't make sense for me to pull one from outside of the neighborhood. So that's why I keep it small. Versus if you have a farm that has 10 acres, obviously me pulling homes within 0.25 miles is not going to get me 5 comps, right? So within 0.25 miles, give or take a little bit, it needs to have sold or gone pending or be active within about 180 days. That's my ideal. Now, I'll go to 365 sometimes if I have to, just to get the right number. But 180 is ideal so that you're getting an idea of the actual current market. Versus, think about how crazy the market was a couple years ago, right? If I pulled comps from there, it's just not a reflection of where we are right now.
The current day.
So distance, time, and then I try to find the most similar house possible. What I mean by that is it should be within about 500 to 800 square feet, similar to the current property, and that matters whether it's above ground or finished basement.
Exactly.
So if your house is on a basement, you really want to find comps that have a basement, ideally, if there are enough around that are the same way. And you don't want to compare your 3,000 square foot house to a 1,000 square foot house that's sold down the road. Because those are very different people who are shopping for those two houses. And so it's not a properly comparable item. I also try, if your home has a pool, I'm going to make sure that at least 1 or 2 of my comps also has a pool. To try to figure out how much that's influencing how fast it's going to sell, what it's going to sell for, et cetera, et cetera. So those, and also how updated it is. That's the final piece that's very, very important. When I'm trying to pull a comp, I'm going to try to find one that's as updated as yours. If yours needs some upgrades, I'm going to try to find some that also maybe need a coat of paint, don't have the granite countertops in, stuff like that.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what are some common upgrades that you look to try and match between?
Granite countertops and updated kitchens are a huge one because people are often looking at kitchens when they decide whether to go see a home or not. I also tend to look for things like upgraded bathrooms. That's another really good place to see. And deterioration of a property. For example, if you inherited your parents' house and they just did not have enough money to upkeep it at the end, and it really needs some deck work, or it really needs some new carpet, things like that, I'm going to find comps that are in a similar status to the best of my ability, because obviously that's going to sell for a different price than one that's been totally upgraded, is absolutely in perfect condition, could move right in. So those are the ways that I'm evaluating when I'm pulling comps. Is there anything else you would add that you definitely want to make sure of when? Oh, and acreage. How large your lot size is. That's the other thing.
Acreage. Age of the house,
obviously
all that good stuff.
Someone who wants to buy 10 acres is not going to be the same person who wants to buy 0.1 acre, right? So making sure that you're either quantifying how much that 10 acres, is potentially able to sell for in that area, or ignoring it completely is the ideal.
Exactly.
So what would you add to all of that?
I mean, the only other thing are more niche things, right? So if there are any like environmental liens on the property or something. So like if it's in a conservation and it can't be subdivided, stuff like that.
Or if it has solar panels or something, a little bit more funky like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I think those are pretty much the main things we keep. And like you said, like if one is next door to a gas station or like a huge, like a chicken plant, something
or
like
a
that.
chicken house. Yeah.
That will definitely impact,
it will.
How much someone's going to want, like how many people are willing to consider it. Oh yeah. Lakes, pool, creeks, anything like that.
There's a lot of stuff.
So I basically wanted to go over that to give you a general idea when it comes to actually changing how much, deciding how much square footage should subtract. Let me talk again. Deciding how much square footage should subtract when comparing. That's the kind of thing I'd really recommend going to an agent for.
Yeah.
But if you're just trying to get a general idea or understand when you're conversing with your agent, know that that's kind of what we are doing when we're pulling comps. I just think transparency is so important in this industry that the more you know as the consumer, the more you can look out for yourself and make sure that you work with an agent who cares about you.
Exactly.
Like us. So.
And we're extremely transparent with the whole process. We'll walk you through the numbers, how we got them, and we'll show you all the comps that we use to pull.
Absolutely, because I think it's so important. Like, I, as a homeowner, have a very different relationship to my home. I have a lot of pride in it. I have a lot of, maybe sensitivity to it versus seeing a random house online and going, oh, that one is terrible, or whatever. They should have done this. So if you as the homeowner can speak the same language as us, and we can show you, I love that you have raised your 3 kids here. This has been a home to you. But truly, the reason I'm saying it's worth, or it could sell for a little bit less than this one, is because of these reasons.
Exactly.
Being able to show the actual reasons, I feel like makes such a big difference.
I completely
so that it doesn't
agree.
just feel like someone's coming in and either insulting your home or just boosting your ego to get the sale.
Because our job is to help sell your house for the most money on your timeline.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it.
Having a little bit of a crowbar of separation of I'm not necessarily saying that you should take what I'm talking about the house personally. It's just matter of fact. Yeah. And this will help get to that end result of getting you the most money at the end of the day.
And at the same time, we understand that it can feel personal.
It can.
So that's why we try to lead with facts and compassion. Yeah. I would say in most of our clients end up becoming close friends of ours. We have several dinners over the next few weeks with past clients because we genuinely love the people we end up working with. I feel so fortunate to be in this job because of that. I
completely agree with that.
And so I feel like developing that relationship capital with someone also helps soften the blow and make it make sense when we're like, hey, I genuinely think you're going to get more money for your house if you do this. Yeah. I've been in this industry long enough. I do this every day. You trust me. Let's do this, and it's going to make a difference for you.
Homes by Valor. We make it make sense.
Yeah, exactly. That should have been our tagline all along. So, in case you guys don't know, our actual tagline is "Feel right at home."
It's a nice one.
Which took many late nights of coming up with this stuff. We were trying to be marketing experts even before we started all of this. So
it's insurmountable. We're great.
Yeah. So anyway, I hope that clarifies things a little bit.
Absolutely.
The next thing we wanted to kind of touch on, it's kind of a dual element where we'll both talk about kind of different things, but we wanted to talk about how to keep up with your equity.
Absolutely. So there's a few different ways you can actually keep up with your equity. One, like Kate was saying earlier, you can reach out to your real estate agent, you reach out to us.
Yeah.
And we can help, mark up a CMA, I guess more relevant CMA because it's been done within the past 6 months or so.
Right.
Of where your home kind of stands on the market if you were to go on, and what you could expect days on market to look like, the price you'd go in at, maybe how much in closing costs you might be having to give, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
We'd also know what kind of market it'd be, seller, mixed, buyer, all that good stuff. So reach out to your local expert. Another way is actually there are programs that are available, right? Everyone knows a Zillow, the Zestimate.
Yeah.
That can be...
it can be hit or miss. I will say I'm not nearly as much of a Zillow hater as some people are. We're both 100% on transparency. So the more tools that help buyers and sellers know things, the better. But a Zestimate is basically taking all of the homes that have sold from around you rather than picking and choosing.
It's not a personalized context.
And so it's not going to give you as accurate of a number as someone who is hand picking, which is why I wanted to give you those skills too, in case you're too shy. You're demure. You don't want to talk to an agent about it.
I would say instances where Zillow estimates are not applicable to you, if you've done any additions to your home.
Yep.
They're not going to account for that.
Right. They don't know.
They don't know. Why would they know? Right.
Right.
If you haven't sold your home within the past, I'd say 10 years, probably, it's not going to keep up at a good sort of rate with that.
I agree with that for sure. And then also if you have a much larger parcel or smaller parcel or something like that than the other homes around you, or if your home is strikingly different than the ones that are around you, because then it's going to be taking all of the average, price per square footage of the homes around you. And if they're not like yours, well, there's your problem, right? So that's definitely a good way. And I know you were talking about programs. I would love to talk HomeBot. Do you want to chat a little bit about HomeBot and why we like it?
Take the lead.
Okay. HomeBot is a program that we started using with our team. Not sponsored, by the way.
Not
In
sponsored.
fact, we literally pay to use HomeBot.
Yeah, we pay to use them. So
if you want to sponsor us, HomeBot, we'll consider it because I think it's a great program. We use it for all of our clients who have closed on homes or who we're working with. And basically what we do is we put in their home, what the home sold for and when the loan closed.
Basically, we put in our CMA information that we've done.
Yeah, plus when their loan closed so that they can keep an eye on how much true equity they have. It auto subtracts how much they owe still on the loan. And also, because you're putting in your interest rate, it will also send you little ding, ding, ding. Hey, interest rates have gone below what you ended up paying. You may want to consider refinancing. This is what that process looks like. We are even as agents able to plug in individual videos that we've made to be hey, the market's kind of cold right now. This is what that means. The market is really hot right now and it would be a great time to sell. This is what that means. So it feels really personalized. And then whenever you have a question, you can directly reach out to us. So that sounds mostly like it's us centric, but what it really is you get to take charge and really keep an eye on, if I went to sell my house today, how much cash could I walk away with and put down on another house?
Exactly. I'd say out of all of the, tools we provide our past clients, that is the most used one.
Yeah. So even if you're not a past client of ours, if you have any interest in using that sort of tool, let us know. Reach out to listings@homesbyvalor.com or just comment on this video and we'll be happy to set it up, even if you're never talk to me, I just want you
if you
to
just
be
want
able to
the
take
value
charge.
out of it.
Yeah, exactly. So,
we've had multiple people in our neighborhood who have been how much is my home worth? Because we sold a neighbor's house in the neighborhood.
Exactly. How much could I sell it for if I sold today, if I sold in 6 months?
So just we throw them on the program and then they're getting that constant almost insider scoop.
It's twice a month, I think. It sends an email digest being this is what the market around you looks like. This is how long it would take you to sell most likely. And this is how much you would walk away with most likely right now if you went to sell.
Exactly.
So I just think that
it's fantastic.
Your home is one of the biggest investments you can make. So you certainly want to stay on top of how much you would actually make if you went to sell it. But the other part of that, speaking of equity that we wanted to talk about, is how do you make sure your house is increasing?
How do you keep up with the maintenance? Yeah. How do you keep up with all that sort of scope?
Exactly.
When it comes to being a homeowner.
And there are a million things that you can do, but a few of the main ones that I would absolutely recommend is, number one, get your AC serviced.
Oh my gosh.
Every time I go to an inspection, the inspector is like, by the way, you can extend the lifespan of this by just having it serviced twice a year. It's like $75 or $100 to have it serviced.
100%.
And cleaning off the coils, like getting rid of all of the junk that builds up is absolutely something that will extend the life.
Yeah.
And then it won't be deteriorating. Like if you go to sell a home and you have window units in versus a working AC conditioner, that's going to detract on how many people are willing to buy it, right? Same with things like decks. Right?
100%.
Like keeping up with your deck, making sure it's still safe. Like there are so many things that can feel out of your control when it comes to being a homeowner. The things like the Cherokee County Development Plan, like those things are not necessarily within your control. So if you want to do the things within your control to keep up equity, just do your home maintenance.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. It's just like I was talking about earlier with the dermatologist, right? Ounce of prevention better than a pound of cure.
Absolutely true. Yeah, absolutely.
So going through that process, I mean, I'll a little side anecdote actually. I was changing out the air filter on our furnace the other day. It's in our attic, Yeah. It's a spot for it.
Oh my gosh, I know what you're going to say. This was crazy.
We had a huge windstorm come through recently. Really rough stuff. Of course, all of our, furniture on the porch went flying everywhere.
Yeah.
I think we're still missing a cushion.
Furniture on the porch, literally gone forever. Yeah.
But what I hadn't realized is that there were like 3 shingles in our backyard. And I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
It's probably fine.
Yeah, we were like, no big deal. We know our roof is struggling a little bit. Probably just a normal one.
But it ends up, I go up there and I'm like, it's a little bit brighter up here than normal.
Oh my gosh.
There's just broad daylight streaming in. Like I'm like, that's probably not good. So I bust out the drone, do a little flyover. There's a hole probably about like the size of like a child.
Literally, it was like this big and this wide across. We're just, if it had rained, immediate problems.
It would have been bad if it had rained.
Because it was right on our ridge line.
It was the capping shingle, right? It had... The wind shear had been so significant that it had torn off the capping shingles. Oh my gosh.
It was crazy.
I had never been more stressed. It was bad.
He had to do like matrix moves to and like put a bucket underneath this because it looked like it was going to rain. We got our roofer out there like same day. So everything
It's important to have a roofer. If you don't have a roofer, your realtor probably has one in their book.
Absolutely. Yes. So anyways, to
side
say,
tangent.
No, it's good. I love a good side tangent. But all of that to say is keeping up, being familiar with your home is bound to prevent problems which will grow and decrease your equity.
Exactly.
We want equity to grow. We want it to go up. We want you to make money because you own a house. That is the good life, right?
Good stuff.
The bad life is owning a house you don't take care of, and it ends up sucking your money instead.
Exactly.
So take care of your house the best you can. It doesn't take too much most of the time. Prevention and focus, and it's going to be a great investment for you most of the time.
Don't let your equity evaporate by inaction.
Exactly. Well, enough of all of the real estate stuff. We'll quickly go over what our date ideas are for this week, and then we'll jump into trivia.
Yeah, so. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want to start with your date idea?
I think I'd like to start because this is actually, we've done this a few times with family and friends, and I think it's a pretty good date idea.
Okay.
It's actually...
How are you going to woo me this week?
I'm going to woo you this week by talking about painting classes.
Oh, I love those.
So like it's the group paint alongs where like you have people set up. Sometimes they're sipping, sometimes they're not, right?
Yeah.
And there's actually a local business called M&M Mercantile.
Oh, that's at the mill,
It's over at the mill,
okay,
exactly.
So. Yeah.
So
how cute.
They have classes every now and again. And honestly, like having almost like a take-home sort of like memento from the occasion, I feel like is so nice to have for a date.
I think so too. I think that's a really good one. We've gone to a few of them, and I mostly love them, and then the other part of me has never felt more rage, right? I need to be good at everything I do. That's just great. A sort of rule about me.
You absolutely are a rule follower, and you'll do exactly what the instructor is doing. I'm like the opposite.
You're going wild.
I go surreal with my art,
Yeah.
they'll say paint a sun. I'll start painting a black hole that's sucking in all of the different environment.
Yeah, welcome to angsty Eric, I guess.
I'm in my angsty phase. What can I say? Put on some My Chemical Romance.
But the thing is, even if you're drawing an angsty thing, you're happy, versus I'm like, my line did not look exactly like the instructors. Why is this happening? Like, I get weirdly competitive at things like that. But then I enjoy it in the end. Like there's, I don't know that I'm great to be around during a painting class, but then after it, I'm very happy.
I agree.
So
I'll take it one sometime
I think
soon.
that's a fun little date night, especially for those of you who are more soothed of spirit than I am, who are able to enjoy that. But that's definitely fun. And I love the mill. Anytime we can go and spend time at the mill.
It's a great spot. How about yourself? Where are you taking me this week?
Okay. So this week, for those of you who have heard this podcast before, you know that we have done a great job with half our garden and we have killed off the other half.
We have done a lot with that.
We have, yeah.
Our poor gardenias.
Our poor gardenias are cooked.
But our tea olive.
But the tea olive is popping off. Yeah. It's great. So,
it's got a praying mantis on it.
Praying mantis literally lives in it. It's so cool. It's very cute. So my date idea that I think is super fun is to go to a local plant nursery and pick out a plant and either like put it in a pot or like plant it in the backyard, learn about the instructions of care together, and like have this thing that over time grows 100%. And does well. So even if you're in an apartment, like I said, like get it, on your little back patio, add a little plant or make it an indoor plant. You know, it doesn't matter. But there are a couple of plant nurseries around here. One is Pike's Nursery, or Pike or Pikes. I can never remember.
Pike Nursery.
Pike Nursery. We had such a good experience going there. The lady who helped us was so kind. She worked with us for like 7 hours, helping us plan out how much space we needed, which plants would do well together, which ones needed sun, which ones needed shade, how much we should like water them.
She was extremely informative, extremely knowledgeable. Honestly, I think that's a fantastic date location because I still have such great memories of the time we went together and we were picking out for our garden.
Yeah, and there is another one that's popped up around Canton. I don't know really anything about it. I know that it's brand new, and I've heard pretty good things about it from people who have gone, but it's Plant Daddy's Nursery.
Oh, I've driven by that a few times.
It's very close to where Sanctuary is and kind of on the way to the mill.
Over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Close to downtown, Brown Park-ish area.
Yeah, so I think it could be like, I love seeing cool new businesses come, and it's another locally owned one. I'm like 99% sure. So that's another place you could totally try that's actually in Canton versus Pike Nursery is in Woodstock, but it's still so close, like we've talked about. So that's my date idea for this week. I think we should go and replace our gardenias. So.
Yeah, well, thanks to Pike Nurseries,
we'll be able to exchange
them.
Yeah, if you have one die, like within a year, you get one freebie. So that's really nice for those of us who have, maybe not done our parently duties to our plants.
The azaleas are fine, the tea olive, the India hawthorn, but those gardenias
and our wildflowers are doing pretty well too.
Well, yeah, but we didn't get those from.
I know those were from Costco. Back
Costco,
to that.
And they're so hurty.
Okay, on to the most dramatic section of our podcast. Couples trivia.
Good stuff. What's the category for this week, Kate?
We're doing foods. Last week we did family. This week we're doing foods.
We're doing foods?
We're doing foods. So
that's fine. My questions are for foods.
Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. You ready?
Go for it.
Do you want easy, medium, hard, or hard, medium, easy?
Easy, medium, hard.
All right, you sure? You don't want to do medium, easy?
I'm sure.
Medium, hard, easy?
They all feel hard anyway. It's okay.
All right. First one. You ready? Recently, what has been my go-to beverage that is not water?
I know this one. I know it because it makes me upset in only a way that a wife can be upset with her husband. It is mango nectar juice.
Yeah.
You buy it in jugs that are this large, and just every time I see you, you're like sipping mango juice.
Grab it by the gallon.
I can't tell you why it makes me irrationally angry, but it does. It's really good. The stuff is delicious.
It's a great just something about like the everything.
Sip. So that I know that one. It's ingrained in my brain. It is mango nectar juice.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Why have you been loving it recently? Why is it like your go-to right now?
It's been nice to have something sweet to sip on and that sort of stuff.
Well, you know what? If it makes you happy, I love you.
Thanks.
And I'm really glad it makes you happy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
we'll see if you keep making me happy with question number 2.
Da, 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 da.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. What is my favorite spice blend? I use
blackening seasoning.
As blackened seasoning.
Blackened seasoning. I always call it blackening seasoning, but yeah, it's like
it does that too.
It's really good on meat and stuff, right? It's like
use
salty.
It in turkey.
And
it's got paprika. It's got a whole.
It's red.
It's red. Yeah. It's really good.
It's really
Correct.
good. You do a really good job. We mostly eat ground turkey. That's like our main go-to because we used to put ground beef in everything, and ground turkey just feels a little healthier. So we usually make a huge batch of ground turkey at the beginning of the week with the blackened keeping seasoning and all that. And it's so good. So keep on using it. That's a good favorite.
All right. Now, the hard one, I don't know if you'll be able to get it.
Okay.
So no pressure.
Okay.
No expectations.
Oh, so many expectations.
What is, I asked what my favorite one was. What is my least favorite spice? And I have a hint if you want a hint.
Okay, I'm going to need a hint. Because unless it's the one my family uses, I don't know.
The hint is that this spice is popular in some Indian cuisines.
Uh-oh. Oh, I don't know. We got some serious food poisoning from Indian food,
she might have a mental block.
5 years ago, and so I don't eat Indian food, at least not yet. It's going to take some time.
I have another hint.
Okay.
It starts with letter C.
It's not like cloves or something, is it?
Cloves is my second least favorite.
I don't know. I lose.
It's cumin.
I wouldn't have ever come up with that, I don't think. Why don't you like it?
I don't know. Something about the flavor profile.
Okay, well.
It's just not my favorite. I feel like it overpowers everything else in it.
Fair enough. I have a question about spice stuff too, but that's my medium one. So we're going to start with easy.
All right.
What food am I allergic to? Physically.
Oh, pumpkin?
Yeah. What happens when I have pumpkin?
So this is actually crazy. I think we need to see a specialist about this.
I need to see a specialist. This is
a very interesting reaction.
I feel like I've made it up or something, but I haven't, right? You've been around it when it's happened.
It's been kind of crazy. Yeah. So basically, whenever Kate handles pumpkin.
Like jack-o'-lantern pumpkin,
jack-o'-lantern pumpkin.
This is how I found it out.
Like a raw pumpkin, right? Her hands just start melting almost.
Well, no. It's more like they segment into weird little scale-looking things, and then they start come off.
Exactly, they start coming off in sheets. It's like you're melting your skin off.
Yeah, really gross.
Yeah,
it doesn't hurt.
I don't
know what's going on.
You probably need to be studied.
I should definitely be studied for sure. And yeah, the pumpkin thing, that's super weird. But good job, you got it. Medium. What food did I think was too spicy when I was a kid that you always judge me for?
I mean, it's like half judging, right? Is it black pepper?
Yeah, it's black pepper. I was such a picky kid. I had so many foods that I wouldn't eat, and pepper was definitely one of them. It frightened me or something.
In my family,
I think because I could see it on the food. I was like,
that's fair. My family growing up, we were always told to reach for the pepper before we reach for the salt, right?
And I tend to do that more now, to be honest. I've grown a lot. I've changed a lot. Yeah. Your girl is working on embracing the spice life.
There you go. But you've had leaps and bounds of growth. I've been really impressed.
Can't improve if you already start at 10 out of 10. So I just wanted to set the bar low as a child so I could continue to impress.
You have that, V-shaped recovery.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, my hard question. You might know this.
I don't know.
I think you probably will.
Who knows?
I believe in you.
I don't know.
What food did I always request on my birthday when I was a kid? And this was what my parents would make. This was not going out to a restaurant.
No. You're not going to CC's. Don't worry.
No.
Watch Teen Titans. Is it the Huller creation of the appetizer?
No, but that was such a good one as a kid.
Then second guess. Is it sausage balls?
Nope.
Wait, third guess.
I don't know if you get a third
I don't
guess.
actually know then.
We're going to have to describe what the appetizer is, by the way.
Yeah, we'll circle back in a moment.
The real answer to this is London broil.
Oh,
steak.
Yes.
I am such a steak girl. And London broil was the cut of meat that you could get at the store that was steak, but it wasn't crazy expensive. And my parents cooked it so well on the grill. I still crave their London 100%. Broil. I'll take their London broil, which is not as nice of a cut of steak, over most places filet mignon.
Exactly.
Number one, the nostalgia. But number two, they're very good.
They do a good
job.
Your mother does a great job at marinating, and your dad's an expert on the grill.
Yeah. As far as the appetizer thing, my mom and dad used to be like, you want to make an appetizer? Like, meaning a food before the other food.
Yeah.
But I thought that this food that I always make was actually called an appetizer. So until I was like 8 or 9, I thought like that word appetizer only referred to this.
And what is this?
I've got a hiccup. Sorry, I'm
You're
ready.
Good.
It made me emotional to talk about my childhood. No, it is a piece of bread, cream cheese, a piece of bread, mayonnaise, and cheddar cheese on top.
It actually makes me like shudder a little bit.
Into a toaster oven and cooked, and oh my gosh, it was heaven when I was a child. That's when
so gross.
It sounds so gross, but I'm telling you, it was like my go-to love of my life food.
Well, I mean, this is also coming from someone who's like
loves cheese.
No, I hate cheese.
Oh, right. You're right. You got grilled cheese traumatized.
I got grilled cheese traumatized when I was a kid.
Cheese.
You know, having like 8 layers of Kraft, slice on a single, it does something to a kid, and it is not a good thing.
Well, we both got 2 out of 3 today.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good.
Fair game.
We've done a good job. I'm proud of us. We'll do better next week. We'll aim for 3 out of 3.
Maybe we'll shake hands next week.
Maybe if we actually get 3 out of 3, we earn an actual handshake. But thank you for sitting down with me today.
Likewise.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Canton podcast. Yeah. We're looking forward to recording our next one for you. And thanks for continuing to keep up with it. Let us know if you have any questions.
Yeah, feel free to reach out.
We'd love to do kind of a question and answer segment of the podcast instead of us just blehing information everywhere that we think you might know. That. Yeah, we will keep doing it. But if you actually have specific things you want to know, we'd love to help.
Absolutely true.
We will see you guys in the next one.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.